just waiting for the big door to open, the important door. Aloha, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are here to provide you with the latest information and updates regarding the new Aloha Stadium Entertainment District. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge Senator Glenn Wakai, who represents the Stadium District. We also have Honolulu Managing Director Mike Formby, representing Mayor Rick Blangiardi, and they're all here today to show unified government support for NASED. Questions and answers will follow promptly after the speakers conclude their remarks. And without further ado, it is my honor and great pleasure to introduce to you Governor Josh Green.
Aloha. Good to see everybody. So yes, we're excited today that we're moving forward on the stadium, the new Aloha Stadium Entertainment District, NASED. So today you're going to hear from our experts. We've put out the RFP as of today, and we're moving, like I said, forward. One important question that's been asked of us, and I just want to be very clear, is can you move forward on other projects when you've been dealing as a state with a true crisis, which is the wildfire on Maui? And the answer is yes. All of our care and concern and heart goes to Maui, and we're doing a lot of things for our state so that we can move forward in support of all. And that's what the stadium is in part going to do. So we move forward today with an integrated public-private partnership. It reduces the financial risk to the state. So over the course of this year, our first year, we had a chance to do a lot of additional due diligence, and that's what you're going to hear from our experts today. We're transferring the risk, in other words, the financial risk, to the private sector, and some of the upside, of course, to the private sector as they build the stadium and build housing. As I said, the wildfires have affected us. They've affected all of us and our budget, but that does not affect our capacity to move forward with this critical project. This is going to benefit our community going into the future. A couple of facts: this will generate $2 billion of economic output for construction spending alone. It translates into 12,000 construction jobs and more than $0.6 billion or $600 million in construction wages. That's important to us as we go through the recovery phase after a natural disaster. Also, the stadium is critical, but so is housing. Housing is our biggest problem. We face shortages in all areas. So the current projection is 4,500 units will be built on the site. That's a big part of the bid. And I learned today, as we were talking, that 70%, that's our goal, 70% of the housing will be workforce housing. People that work in the district, that will be working in the area. That's very good for us because we've been struggling to build enough housing for our people over the last few years. A couple other comments. This is going to be very good for our young people. We want them to have something to celebrate, whether it's our high school football program, which is super vibrant and gives a lot of people hope, our college football team, which we know we want to support. We need to be a Division I program, so having a stadium that is befitting of a great state is important. So again, I'm going to welcome up some other people. I'm going to call a tiny audible here and call up my friend Glenn Wakai to say a couple words. Is that all right, Glenn? Before we go over to Brendan. This is.
Ho, 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 happy holidays. I mean, this is quite a Christmas gift for the people of Hawaii. You know, it finally turns what was a long-time dream into reality. And I know that the community for years has had kind of just fatigue. When is government going to get its act together? Well, today is that day when we finally have coalesced a clear plan and path forward. I mean, look at the stadium. It closed in December of 2019. What have we offered the public since then? 4 Christmases of coal. Today, we deliver a package of goods that the community will eventually be very proud of. The governor talks about the stadium itself, but it also that the mixed-use development that's going to go around it, the vibrancy. And I've been massaging my community for 15 years in preparation for this particular day. And, you know, when it comes to the state building stuff, I'm not a believer in build it and cross your fingers and hope that they will come. The customer base is right there. You look at right across the street, we have the Arizona Memorial. 1.8 million visitors have absolutely nothing to do after they go and see the memorial. So we have a customer base there. So all the pieces are lined up to make this a hugely successful project. And the governor talked about Lahaina and the decade ahead of us in which we're going to have to put in government resources into Lahaina. Where are we going to get those resources from? It's either we're going to tax the public or we're going to create monetized areas of land to help pay for what the infrastructure needs are for Lahaina. The state is land rich, we're cash poor. This is an opportunity for us to monetize these valuable state lands. So we should be cheering this holiday season that it's more than just a stadium. It's going to be a hugely vibrant and dynamic district for all of us to relish. I appreciate Governor Green putting his stamp of approval on this, and kudos to the Stadium Authority, which have this group of board members, as well as many prior to them, have set us up for this moment of success. So finally, the city has delivered a wonderful Christmas present to the people of the state.
Truly not planned, but I'm grateful to my dear friend and colleague. So now we're going to go back to the organized program, and you'll hear more details about the expenditure for the stadium, what DBOM means, that's the plan, and how we get there. So again, mahalo for all of your attention.
Mahalo, Governor Green. Next, please welcome Aloha Stadium Authority Chair Brennan Morioka.
Aloha, mahalo for being here. We are very excited. Again, my name is Brendan Morioka. I'm the chair for the Stadium Authority. As Senator Wakai said, and we are very appreciative for all of the support from both the administration as well as the legislature for getting us to this point. But as Senator Wakai had mentioned, this has taken a lot of time of many stadium authorities, our current members of past authorities, and as well as two of our previous chairs, Ross Yamasaki and Charlie Taguchi, who played very integral roles in really kind of moving a lot of the obstacles to get us to this point. So I do want to thank all of them for being a part of today's announcement. As many of you know, we canceled our previous procurements earlier in the year, and then we moved forward with a new single design, build, operate, maintain procurement for the stadium, as well as the development of the surrounding real estate areas. Over the last few months, over the summer and the fall, we went through a very significant amount of market sounding and due diligence in engaging many of the stakeholders who are going to be participating in this, not just those who are going to be looking to build it and develop the areas around it, but also within our communities. And so there is a lot of buy-in amongst the community and the business community and the development community in what we're doing and putting forward in our procurement that we're announcing today. The market sounding process did identify a number of interested potential bidders, so we're extremely excited about that potential and working with them, including some very world-class teams. We did identify a number of variety of issues that we had to work through, and we did so with many of the stakeholders, which we believe resulted in a much more improved procurement process, and I think we're going to see a much better product at the end of the day. The financial analysis that we performed does indicate in the long term a very vibrant and viable project that we believe will provide financial windfalls for not just those who participate in the development, but also for the state and the city municipality as well, in terms of general excise tax increases as well as property tax increases in the area, property tax revenues that are going to come that don't currently exist. In the short term, though, as the district is built out, we do acknowledge that there are some financial challenges that a developer or partner will have to buy into and overcome. That's why we are very much looking at having a partner who and a developer that is in it for the long term and for the development of the community. So that's the kind of partner that we're looking for. Some of the details of the RFP, and you will be provided with the RFP itself as a part of your media package. But we are looking at one integrated public-private partnership with a single entity engaged as the master developer for the entire 100 acres of the Aloha Stadium District. The new Aloha Stadium itself will be a minimum of 25,000 seats with premium suites, lounges, and loge boxes. It is meant to accommodate a variety of sporting events, including not just football, but also world-class soccer and rugby, as well as concerts and other kinds of entertainment venues. We will be utilizing the current $400 million appropriation, and long-term funding and cost overruns will be borne by the private sector, thus reducing risks for the state. The master developer has also the obligation to develop the surrounding district into a mixed-use development in line with both the state's and the city's vision in terms of what the zoning should look like. And we do appreciate the city's actions recently in passing third reading 2 of their bills for the Halawa TOD zoning for the area, which does give some level of stability and understanding for the developers on what they will be obligated to be trying to develop in the area. The deadline for the qualifications is going to be February 2024. The priority listed offerers will be selected in April of 2024, and the proposals, initial set of proposals, will be due in the summer of 2024 with a selected preferred offerer in the fall of 2024, at which point we will then start further negotiations with that preferred offerer, all with the intent of executing a contract by the summer of 2025. So right now we are still on target for the goal of having kickoff in the new Aloha Stadium for the football season of 2028. So with that, I appreciate everybody's attendance here, and we look forward to a very fantastic project. So aloha.
Mahalo, Chair Morioka. Moving forward, as we are today, I would like to introduce University of Hawaii President David Lassner.
Are we allowed to kiss the interpreter? My good friend Inga. Good morning. I want to be clear, as I'm cheerleading for this project, that the University of Hawaii fully embraces this P3 approach to identify a master developer who will design, build, operate, and maintain the new Aloha Stadium at Halawa. We've had an excellent relationship with the Stadium Authority over these past years, but the very public problems with the old Aloha Stadium have been a challenge for all of us, and presented UH in particular with some unanticipated financial challenges when we had to move to our rather charming temporary facility at the Clarence T.C. Ching Field on campus. The new Aloha Stadium will provide our Rainbow Warriors with the kind of modern venue that will enable Hawaii's team to play at the FBS level competitively for years to come, and attract the kind of talent that will honor our state and delight our fans. The new stadium will also allow the kind of financial return from our home games that can support all of our non-revenue sports, which include pretty much all of our women's sports and most of the rest of our men's sports. So for me, I will not be the president in 2028, but I can't wait to see Coach Timmy Chang and the Brotherhood take on Kansas at the new Aloha Stadium on August 26, 2028. Go Team NASAD and go Bows!
Okay, very good. At this time, we will take questions, and our first two will be coming from Bryce and then followed by Daryl.
Right. So right now we're moving forward with the $400 million that we currently have. We do know that building a stadium of such size with some of the amenities that we're going to be asking for is going to be much more than that. And so there is going to have to be a level of private subsidy that is going to be a part of building the stadium. And so so the private developer is going to have the opportunity, which is why this is a design build construction project, where we want them to use their innovation to tell us what they can build, what they can afford, and in what way. So if they want to offer something that's more than 25,000 seats, they want to offer other kinds of amenities that are above the minimum requirements, then they're going to score more points, which makes their proposals far more attractive and makes them, you know, maybe potentially winning this solicitation. So we do hope that many of our proposals are going to be taking, you know, what we put forward as our minimum requirements, and through some of the discussions that we've had and some of our desires, using that to make their proposals much more attractive than just the minimum that we're asking for. Even though the minimum, we believe, is still going to be a stadium that all of us are going to be proud in. Thank you.
Follow-up, Bryce, or are you good?
It's a little bit of a, it's a related but not follow-up to that.
Got it. So we'll let Daryl go.
I think this is probably for you, Ben. What is the primary source of revenue that the developers you expect will be generating? What is their focus going to be in terms of paying? Right now, housing doesn't make you that much money. You're going to force them to make housing. Workforce level is not affordable necessarily, but where is their revenue going to come from to supplement and support?
Right. No, good question, Darrell. And it's good. And we will work with the developer teams on their financial proposals as well. And their revenues are going to come from a variety of sources, right? This is a design, build, operate, maintain. So they are responsible for not just operating the stadium, but maintaining it over the 20 or 30-year life of this relationship, right? And so they're going to be able to retain all of the revenues other than what is carved out, you know, for some of the special events like the University of Hawaii high school activities where they're not going to be able to generate revenue. But concerts and other kinds of venues and events, they're going to be able to generate the revenue, keep the revenue, and pay for their private capital that they're going to have to invest in the initial upfront building stadium construction. There's going to be operating costs. There are going to be maintenance costs. So all those operational revenues will go to that. They're also going to be required to develop the areas in a multi-use aspect. So they're going to be able to do hotels, retail, office, commercial, as well as residential. We do believe that there are significant amounts of revenue opportunities in all those different areas, including residential, because they will have the ability to do some level of capacity in market level housings. But also the fact that this area is designated as an opportunity zone is clearly an advantage to a business to invest in creating economic development, economic activity in the area, creating jobs, well-paying jobs in the area. And those are the kinds of things that we are very optimistic on, that is going to attract the kind of tenants and partners to come to this nascent area.
So in this proposal, once you start getting these proposals, they can be very different from each other. And so I was wondering who's going to be deciding to make those decisions about which proposal, and then after that negotiate. For example, UH can be involved in negotiating in terms of its contract long term. What's the process going to be for one, making a final decision out of these various proposals, two, holding the developer feet to the fire on doing what they say, and also making sure that all those decisions are in the best interest of the state of Hawaii?
Sure. As with any state procurement, especially one that is a design build type or best value or request for proposal type, we have a selection committee that is responsible for evaluating proposals. They will be the ones tasked with making that decision and recommendation moving forward. We are also able to supplement this committee with subject matter experts, whether in real estate, finance. UH has been at the table to discuss what should be in the requirements for the proposal. At the end of the day, I think all of us have the same interest in getting something that we are all going to be happy with, right? We all have memories of the Aloha Stadium back in the day, right? I mean, we either played high school football, we went to UH football games, running up the stairwells during the halftime, going to an Islander game or whatever it is, right? And that's the kind of thing that all of us who are participating in this, all those who have participated in the past, that's what we want for our kids or our grandkids, right, once it's built. And this is even more so now that this is a entertainment district, much more of a community-driven development where the community actually has been very much involved in the planning of what's going into the development. And so I think we all have a vested interest in ensuring that what is selected, the team that's selected, is also going to have skin in the game and has the right interest in what is in the best interest of this community and for the state. So I'm very confident that the people who are tasked with this is going to do the right job and do the right things. But at the end of the day, on the long term, that's going to fall on the Stadium Authority, on the administration, on the legislature to ensure that whoever is responsible with this contract over the next 99 years, right, because that's the length of the real estate development, that we will be holding them accountable and responsible to doing what they say that they're going to do and what we would like them to do. Stadium Authority will be the direct overseer of this contract, yes.
Thank you, Daryl. We'd like to move on, and thank you, Chair. We'd like to move on to Dave Reardon from the Honolulu Star Advertiser.
Hello, I have two questions. One of them pretty simple, the other one might be a little open-ended. 25K, are we looking at potential to, if appropriate, for expansion?
Yeah, so the question was about potential for expansion. That's a very good question. So yes, we are asking the developers to ensure that the kinds of foundations that they put in around the stadium, while we're only asking for a minimum of 25, and if they only initially build 25, maybe the goal, because we see such demand for concerts and games, is going to exceed the 25,000, that at some point in the future we want maybe 35,000, or we want a roof, because right now there is no roof on the top of the stadium. But we are asking them to put in the foundational aspects of the stadium so that when those decisions are made, when the money is available to put in either an additional loge for additional seats or a roof, that the foundation is there. There's going to be a lot less disruption to the stadium activities while they build the additional expansions, as well as lessening or managing the costs, right? Because if they had to do it in the future, it's going to be far more expensive than if they were to put it in now. So we are looking for the future and looking for expansion.
The other question is something I thought about when President Lassner was talking, and I know you don't want to do everything like San Diego State, we're our own place, but their district have the university I think actually owns it and has a lot of stuff there. So I'm just curious, with UH being at the table, is there any talk about having some presence within the district or within the stadium, and which I know because you're going to be looking at some, having some different various things within the stadium.
Yeah, no, what's going to be, what the district will look like is still kind of on the table, right? I mean, that's the beauty of this. We have a blank canvas. We will work with the developer who wins the project to see what the continued vision is going to look like, who is going to occupy. We are having conversations with various state agencies, the city and county, the university. I mean, so there's a whole variety of opportunity, which is part of the beauty of this new development district, right?
Let me add, so to dovetail on two of the questions, so you heard economic opportunity mentioned twice by Brennan. So economic opportunity zones are very tax favorable, and this one goes till 2043? 2047. So people who invest, whoever wins this bid and builds the stadium and the entire economic district, is going to have some federal tax benefits. And so that helps to balance out the desire for investment. So we can get extra investment from them because it's one bid, it's one plan, it's one district. So that's going to be very helpful. And another thing to mention, we were speaking just before we came out that there may be a lot of creativity for this district. There may be an amphitheater that's outside, depending what people decide they would like to invest in. A lot of things that we've wanted here in Honolulu and in our state for a long time could very well be a creative realization from this bid. So we're giving them flexibility, but at the end of the day, we're going to get something special without too much taxpayer exposure.
Mahalo, thank you. And now we'd like to move on to a question from Brian D-Mac McInnes.
Maybe Brennan would be best to answer this one. In regards to the market sounding from this summer, I think there was mention that some of the prospective bidders had some significant concerns about their financial long-term viability. I was wondering, in subsequent conversations, what you guys might have done to assuage some of them that it is viable for them in the long term.
Sure. So part of the initial conversations and concerns that were raised was on the very short-term viability in terms of, because they are going to have to invest quite a bit of money of their own initially in order to build a stadium that we're going to be asking for. And so whether or not the development was going to be able to help supplement that kind of repayment on their end, right? And so we've worked with many of them. We redid our financial analysis, shared that with all of our proposers. We've been as transparent as we can in sharing what we know, what we believe and what we are looking at. And so I think the most latest financial plan or outlook that we've done, or analysis that we've done, looks a lot better. We've also allowed them to look at value engineering kinds of things without compromising the quality and experience of the stadium that we want. And so I think we have managed to give them as much information to make them a little bit more comfortable with our optimism to match theirs. But again, at the end of the day, we do believe that in the long term, there is a lot much more financial benefit on the back end of this project, which is also why we believe that it's important to find someone who's in it for the long term and not just wanting to come in and out, make some money in Hawaii and leave. We want them to be invested in Hawaii because their financial outlook is also dependent on the success of this project. And so that's the kind of partner that we're looking for.
And as a quick follow-up, last time around during this NASED process, I believe there were 3 teams of bidders that were in the mix. How many do you hope or anticipate for this time?
Well, we're hoping for more, but we do know that the 3 who participated before are still interested. What the final number looks like is to be seen until we get the proposal, the qualifications in February.
And Bryce, you had
Will there be any sort of requirement in the request to build the stadium itself before the entertainment district?
So the requirement for the stadium is basically to finish it before the fall of 2028. The rest of the development can come whenever they look at the market demands. And we're assuming that the initial phase of development, which is probably going to be the Kamehameha lot or the station park and ride area, as well as part of the area adjacent most immediately to the stadium, we believe that they're probably going to move on that first because that is developable and it has direct access to the station, which means far more access for a larger demographic of people. So we do believe that development will probably start concurrent or short after the start of construction of the stadium, but the only real requirement or fixed date that we have is the fall 2028 football season. We do think that there is a possibility that they will finish the stadium earlier in the year in 2028, which would be good for us because ideally we would not want to have the first event being the home game of the University of Hawaii football. We'd like it to be maybe a smaller kind of concert or some kind of community event where we can get some of the operational kinks out before, unlike some of the other openings of larger stadiums where the first opening was the biggest event or it was a large event and they saw some of the operational issues arise during those events. We want to take that out of the play and have a really enjoyable kickoff against Kansas is it Kansas or Kansas State? Kansas in 2028.
And then has a demolition date been set for the current stadium?
The demolition will occur, and we get this question all the time. Why aren't we demolishing the stadium now before. And really it comes down to a cost management and a risk management for the state. We're trying to be very sensitive and save money for the state and taxpayers, because it's all our portion, $350 million or the $400 million of state funds. That's all taxpayer dollars, and we want to ensure that we are not going to be spending as much of it on other things other than building the stadium. If we were to, we could go out with a demolition contract right now, have someone demolish it. But if they demolish it in a manner that is not ideal to the way that the builder wants to build it, we ultimately could be paying $10 to $20 million more for construction. So if you let the builder demolish it the way that they want to envision to build it, it's going to save taxpayers money, and that's the primary reason. It's really risk management and cost management for the state, and you know, it's unfortunate that we still have to have that stadium as a reminder that it's just sitting there unused. But you know, at the end of the day, hopefully people understand that we're trying to save them money.
Mahalo, Chair. Darrell, you had another question.
Yeah, for Governor Green 2000. You know, I'm still a little concerned about accountability here, and I feel like what we're seeing is the state authority, they're not a housing agency, for example, but you've got a real priority for us in housing. The number's not gone up to 45 million units, the same as it was prior. 70% workforce housing. Can you describe what your expectation is for how quickly that housing is going to be built, who it's going to serve, and ultimately in 5 years from today, are you the one that we should hold accountable for the success of this project?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's our administration that has to be accountable. At least 20% of the housing has to be affordable. We hope it will be more. And that will also be calculated into the bid process. If someone bids and offers a significantly higher percentage of affordable housing, I think that will probably be viewed very favorably by the team. The 70% workforce housing is important because, as Senator Wakai explained very eloquently, this is about the community. And so having people there along the rail, as you know, we've been very direct about wanting to build along, TOD projects along those lines. So that's important to us too. So we're happy to be accountable to the housing question. A lot of the housing issue is infrastructure too. It means water, sewage, and just availability. So that's why we have the acting mayor here today in support of the program. And we've gotten a lot of additional support from the legislature for infrastructure consideration along the rail. And we know that the chairs have been in favor of that. So all these are important factors. Water remains a big issue. And so we have to be accountable for water. We have to be accountable in the region where the military is nearby. All these things are tied together. That's why ultimately it's the administration. And frankly, the Stadium Authority is in communication with us constantly, and we have representation with them.
And just to kind of address Darrell's point about the Stadium Authority, we're not a housing agency, and you're absolutely right. But I think over the years, recent years, you've seen the Stadium Authority, the complexion of the members has also started to diversify. We've added a number of members who have financial expertise to help us, assist us through this redevelopment process. And over time, I think you will start to see membership of those who will be confirmed to future stadium authorities is going to change as well, because our role is going to obviously change, as you point out. And so the membership of our board is going to have to change to match that kind of expertise. So it's no longer going to be a stadium authority that is just there to manage a stadium, manage events. It's there to manage a district. And so the expertise of those people confirmed to the Stadium Authority will have to change as well. But during this procurement period also, and going forward, folks like HCDA have also been very integrally involved in helping us understand what the development process is, the things that have to go on to look at a development district. So we're not just doing things in a vacuum. We are engaging a number of stakeholders who have the expertise to do this kind of development.
We're utilizing, we should mention, we're utilizing DBED. Both our director and deputy director have been central to the process, and Chris, all of them have been constantly involved. So it's an integrated plan.
Any other, Dave, you had a follow-up.
Follow up on BMAC.
operator component. Yeah, we don't know what the teams are going to look like because that is what this whole initial request for qualifications are. They're going to be resubmitting what their teams are and who their key critical personnel are going to be. So we don't know, but yes, they're going to have to add an operator, and we do know that conversations have been going on with all the teams with the various operators. There's not that many operators out there across the country, but so those are, you're probably going to see similar operators on multiple teams.
There's also one of the due diligence benefits that we've had from this year is that there's a concept, I'm going to make sure I get the words right, a progressive procurement process that goes on, and we can explain that in subsequent updates, but the basic premise is that once this bid occurs and there's a preferred partner, they're able to take information from all of the bids and to maximize the best ideas. It also helps to blunt, I guess, the sting if one doesn't get it. So some resource goes back to bidders who didn't end up at the top pole position. So there's a lot of good work that's been done by Brendan and his team because we really wanted to get this right. And once I made the decision to go to a single bid and move forward that way with the DBOM model, protecting our tax dollars, they really dug in and made sure that they had a good plan.
So what you're saying is, like, if you don't win the bid, you might end up having opportunities in the district anyway, or is that part of it?
It's interesting you say that. I did ask that question in conversation. The winner will ultimately be able to choose partners, I would say, but they'll be responsible. Also, there are some rules as to, we can't have people partnering up quietly and trying to get an advantage. They each have to stand on their own 2 feet. But there will be more than enough work to go around. Per the earlier question about housing, there's going to be a lot of construction that needs to be done. 4,500 units is a terrific amount, plus restaurants, plus just beautiful additional venues. Honestly, I think there's going to be more work than we can even wrap our mind around right now. But let's get the stadium built and get some housing built along the rail, and I think people are going to be pretty happy in 2028.
Thank you. Any last-minute follow-up questions while Governor is here in front of you? If not, Gov, closing remarks?
Okay. Well, look, we thank you for your patience on this matter. We're looking forward to having a modern stadium. Many of us have been going around the country, in fact, the globe, seeing other stadiums about this size. It is very doable. We have a solid amount of revenue. We have great support from the legislature, and we have an excellent team. So this is something we're going to be proud of, and it's going to be kind of an anchor for us here on Oahu. So again, thank you. Stay tuned. We'll give you regular updates as we go forward. And in your packets this afternoon, you'll get a lot of additional detail on both the RFP and the timeline. So again, we're looking forward to this, but keep in mind this is one of many things we'll be doing in addition to the recovery on Maui.